Ugh, Latrice. Can you really be a boss making boss moves and you can't be accountable for anything that you do or say? Hey, what's up and hello? This is the Chris Nicole giving you my views on life, love, and the world of entertainment through my eyes. And this is my review on Belle Collective Season 4, Episode 2, Bromance Before Romance. And baby, when I tell you that is the perfect title for this, good job, production, because I'm like Glenn and Cliff. Whew, well, let's get started. All right. So we start off the episode with Letitia, Marie, and Essie, and they are doing a living assistant home. And I think it's great. I love the fact that we can have the messiness on this show, but there's still balance with these ladies doing great things in the community. They did a complete renovation of the home, and Letitia's meeting with her contractor. And side note, her contractor DP, he kind of cute. You know what I'm saying? A little cutie. But yeah, so they do a walkthrough of the house. They say it's absolutely great, and they plan on doing so many more in the community all around Mississippi, which I think is amazing. And then of course Essie brings up, Latrice, and did Letitia talk to Latrice? And Letitia's like, yeah, I held her accountable, but until she can admit she has a problem and needs to work on herself, I'm moving on. And I was like, child, yeah, good luck with her ever saying that she's gonna admit to actually being wrong in something. Good luck to that. But moving on. Latrice is trying to add people to her panelists at this community college event, and she wants a lady who owns her own boutique to actually be on a panel with her. And if I can be honest, I try to like Latrice, and I feel like her inviting this girl and others is a nice gesture. But as I've said before, Latrice has a nervous tick. She's uncomfortable around cameras and she's uncomfortable with talking, which is why at the brunch she was buzzed and tipsy to try to make herself feel comfortable. But I feel like she's inviting people more so then that way she's not doing this all on her own. She wants a support system, other people who actually can talk. That's my opinion. I felt like if she was like on Letitia's level about being engaging and talking to audiences, she probably wouldn't invite any other girls. She would be the main event. But that's just my opinion. So, of course, the girl, I think her name is April, who owns the boutique, she says she would love to. And she has the audacity to say that Latrice is a great speaker. And then production gave major shade. Like what? Latrice is a great speaker? I think not. And so at this point, the girls all sit down, and Tambra comes in, and the boutique owner, April, starts being shady about Letitia's brunch event. And she said that the food was cold and it arrived late and she wasn't impressed. Then one of the other girls said that Letitia is coming off two-faced by doing this because Latrice told everyone what Letitia said. And of course, Latrice is playing the victim. So my thing is though, how is she being two-faced? I can see if everything that she told Latrice, she told to other girls and didn't say anything to Latrice, but she told Latrice. She had a one-on-one conversation with Latrice about what was going on. And I'm starting to think that Latrice has an issue with Letitia giving her correction in front of the camera. I think that's her issue. But baby, you're on a reality show. Where else is she supposed to have these uncomfortable conversations with you? No one's going to cater to you. Everybody on this show has had an uncomfortable conversation, and that includes you, and you just need to suck it up, buttercup. So with that, I like literally, literally Latrice made it seem like Letitia's her big sister. Letitia's her friend. I told y'all how I feel about Latrice and this word friend. But in the process of doing that, this apparently one little conversation about Letitia explaining how she felt about Latrice at her brunch event. Now all of a sudden, all of the messiness comes. Now she wants to admit to Tambra that Letitia was behind the group chat drama that we saw last season. So she says that it was Letitia's idea to keep Aikisha off of the group chat, and that they were just going to blame Tambra and everybody was okay with it. Now, my thing is this. Latrice claimed she felt bad about it, but I find it interesting that you didn't feel bad about it until you felt like Letitia came for you, which in my opinion, from what I saw from last week's conversation, she didn't come for you. She told you how she felt and held you accountable for how you acted at her brunch. So now she claims she wants to apologize to Tambra because she felt bad, and because she was trying to be loyal, she kept her mouth shut until now because she feels like Letitia dragged her and made her feel small. Child, I guess if I was Tambra, I would be side-eyeing you as well. Now, here's another thing. Is this a behind the curtain production move? Meaning, as you know, especially the lead people on the show, they have to create stories to stir the pot. So did Latrice just give a behind the curtain production situation with that group chat that was supposed to like purposely stir up drama? Or another thing, Tambra did apparently tell these ladies that Aikisha implied that these girls were not cute. So when that occurred and maybe Tambra told Letitia about that, Letitia decided to be Miss Petty Boots and exclude Aikisha out of the group chat. Who knows? But the reality is, I will have to say, Letitia, you claim to always be above and beyond the pettiness. That was shady as hell if you did that and blamed it on Tambra, even on a production level. But again, if this is production, I see how y'all got to get down to continue the drama on the show. But it was still shady as hell. So, of course, Tambra is upset about this. And then we're, of course, going to see on the next episode that she has a sit down with Aikisha. But the thing is, Tambra, you also still ran your mouth about what Aikisha said about the girls not being attractive. But moving on. So, Tambra and Damon, I think this is his name, Damon. I always forget his name. I'm going to start calling him Debo. They go to a baby store, and I think she says she's 5 months pregnant, and if she is, she's hiding it really well because she doesn't even look pregnant. But she is saying that eventually she will have to tell someone because she's gaining weight. But we find out, child, Damon done already ran his mouth to his sister. And Tambra is upset. But Damon is like, look, who did you tell? And Tambra was like, I told my sister, but my sister is a nurse. And that's the only reason why I told her, because of course she's kind of helping me with the whole medical side of stuff. That's the only thing. So she's upset because she's like, I told you not to tell anyone. So at this point, I'm assuming we're going to see her trying to rush so she could tell everyone, because she says she hasn't even told her father yet. She hasn't even told, her parents that she's pregnant. So next we have Latrice, and she has an event to retire her mom. It's like a retirement party. And I must say it was really nice. Like the whole lavender theme, the setup was nice. It was really beautiful. And child, so Gucci was actually there, which I was shocked about. But Latrice had to let it be known that she didn't even know that So Gucci was coming. So I was like, oh, okay, so I guess you didn't invite her and she just came. I don't know. But it was a beautiful event. Like I said, the decorations, the color coordination. And, Cliff pulls Latrice to the side to ask her about Letitia. And, of course, Latrice is playing the victim. She just really can't see how she is wrong in anything. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy to me, and this is why for me she's not likable. She Letitia was saying stuff that to me is a valid conversation, even a heated conversation that friends should be able to have and not automatically seem like somebody's trying to bring you down. But like I said, I think Latrice's issue is she's not comfortable in front of the cameras. She was embarrassed because the cameras were there. That's her issue. She is uncomfortable. So when she has somebody holding her accountable, she freaks out because she knows that this scene is going to be on the show. But then why are you on the show, baby? Like, why are you on the show? Why are you on the show if you are so uncomfortable with the cameras? Because you can tell she's uncomfortable. You can tell. But at this point, she said, well, Latrice said, I was cursing and I was drinking and I was cursing like a sailor. And my thing is, sometimes, Latrice, sometimes you have to humble yourself, take your self-centered BS out of the equation and understand that that wasn't your event. So if Letitia felt a way about how you conducted yourself at her event, apologize and maybe see something for once in someone else's perspective and how they feel about the situation. But Latrice can't do that. She just said Letitia's a liar. You know what I mean? And instead of saying, because I also feel that, and that's another thing that Cliff says, so she hurt your feelings. How about you say, Letitia, you're hurting my feelings versus you going the vindictive route? You know what I mean? That would be an adult thing to do. But again, she can't be vulnerable. So she can't say, you're hurting my feelings. I feel like you can come at me a different way by expressing yourself on how you felt, how I conducted myself at the event. No, she can't do that. She can't express herself that way. So she gets vindictive. Like I said, a friend to no one. So Cliff wants her to get along with Letitia because of his weird bromance with Glenn. And so she says, well, husbands and wives are typically the same, so I don't know about that. And I'm like, well, Latrice, what are you and Cliff? And see, this is what Letitia was talking about. You are so quick to judge people, but you don't like when people come at you with the same energy. Because you were so quick to say they're alike, then what are you and Cliff? Because clearly y'all have been the topic of conversation for several seasons on how he treats you. So it's just like, I don't get it. I don't understand. She's just so oblivious to who she is or how she conducts herself, at least on this show. And you would think at this point, seeing herself multiple seasons on this show, she, like I said the last time, would grow. But she just wants to stay in her ignorance and act like it's everyone else except for her. So, on a nice note though, back to Latrice's event. But before I get to the sweet part, child, did y'all see Latrice's sister? Latrice's sister, it looks like she was staring at Latrice. Baby, the way she was looking at her sister, it was like, let's just say Latrice's sister looked like she got a story to tell. That's all I gotta say. Y'all look at that scene. She looked like she has a story to tell. But Latrice gives a beautiful story about her mom and how her mom cashed in her car so that Latrice can have a beautiful graduation and so that she can look beautiful for her graduation. And she began to cry. And it was a beautiful scene. Like, it was seriously a beautiful scene. And I've never seen that from Latrice. It like humanized her. She's always so guarded. And if she would just let her guard down and stop playing the victim all the time, and I feel like having these type of scenes makes her more relatable. You know what I mean? She still ain't a friend to nobody, but at the same time, it made us say, okay, what does she care about besides herself? She clearly has a close relationship with her mom and how she really appreciates her mom. That makes her relatable. So she gives her mom a trip to Vegas, which I'm assuming her mom likes Vegas. I wouldn't see that as a good trip, and maybe because I'm literally next door to Las Vegas. So maybe I take Vegas for granted, but if her mom likes it, I love it. But that was a beautiful scene. So moving on, the next scene is Latrice again, and she gets all dressed up for an interview with, I think it's called the Jacksonian. And of course, she has to shade the girls, and she claims that, unlike the other women, she's actually making a difference in Jackson, the actual city. But at the same time, in her interview, she tells them during the interview that she doesn't even live in Jackson. So I'm kind of like, okay, so you got your business in Jackson, but you don't live in Jackson. Okay. All right, girl. So that's just like somebody who is, got their business in Compton, but they live in Beverly Hills. I mean, hey, I guess people can do whatever they want, but even production again shaded her again. Like, you just made this big deal about how you're making a difference in Jackson, but then you also put out there that you don't even live in Jackson. You think you're too good enough for Jackson? What is it, boo? So I will say, again, she came off timid. She comes off uncomfortable. She comes off like she has extreme anxiety. I don't know if she has it, but that's the way it just comes off, in my opinion, on the interview. But I will say that her American dream part of the interview was really, really good. Your American dream is what you make it. And I was like, okay, that was a good response, Latrice. But she makes a comment that she put hair entrepreneurship on the map. And maybe again, they cut certain things out, and she's talking about Mississippi, because baby, hair companies have been out for decades. Like, you were not the first. So I'm assuming she means in Jackson, Mississippi. But again, Latrice is with her hair and makeup team, and you can tell she's still bothered by Letitia. You can tell there's nothing else that she really wants to talk about but Letitia and what Letitia said. Then she tells her team that she didn't even drink that day. But of course, production shades her and does a flashback. And we see Sis is not only drinking, but she even says that she's tipsy. I'm starting to think that production has an issue with Latrice too, because to me, they kind of give her subliminal shade like no other. Like, seriously, compared to everyone else on this show, she gets the most shade as far as production is concerned. So she just blatantly lies, but she claims that Letitia lies. But yeah, you claim you weren't drinking. So that may imply that you may possibly have a problem because you don't even remember when you're drinking. So again, being self-centered, she doesn't see anything that she did wrong. And I think her team gave her some good adult common sense advice. You need to speak to her. If that is someone that you consider a friend, stop all of this back and forth about how you're telling everyone else how you feel. Now, if anybody's being two-faced, it would be her. She's telling everyone else how she feels, being vindictive in the process, but haven't told Letitia anything yet. So we have So Gucci and JJ with this fake scene with his mama, and I'm not about to get into that. So next. Then we have the Letitia and Glenn date night. And baby, Letitia, her body shape wear, whatever she had on had her snatched. I mean, she looked uncomfortable as hell, but she was cute. But baby, like, they made sure not one roll came out of that body shape wear. So I guess Latrice and Cliff, I don't know if it was the same day of her mother's retirement party, but they continue on with this lavender thing. Latrice looks cute. Cliff comes in with a wrinkled shirt on, child. So they sit down, and of course it's awkward because Glenn didn't tell Letitia that they were coming. And Latrice didn't know that, they were going to be meeting up with Letitia and Glenn. So of course they're awkward and they're kind of going off on the guys. And Letitia eventually says, like, I think you and Glenn and Cliff, y'all got this bromance, but y'all also got these insecurities, and I'm not feeling the way that, my husband has changed since he's been friends with you, Cliff. And so they act like they don't know what's going on, and it's just the ladies tripping. So they decide to get up, take their food, and they drink and go to the bar. And but one thing Latrice did say before they got up, Latrice said, when Letitia said that she thinks that the guys have some insecurities, Latrice said, sometimes people don't know that they are insecure. It's a subconscious thing. And I was like, are you admitting something? Are you admitting something, Latrice? Because you're right. People have insecurities. But then she follow ups and says, I can admit when I'm wrong. So no, the hell you can't. When have you ever admitted on this show that you were wrong? And maybe there is a diehard Latrice fan out there that can give a balance to this perspective, because I'm just like, I have never seen Latrice anything, admit anything that she is wrong on this show ever. So when she said that, Letitia was like, child, I don't have time for this. But then the guys get up, go to the bar. And of course, Letitia was trying to be an adult and talk to Latrice and say, what you waiting on your water? She's like, yeah, honey, because I can handle alcohol. I guess I'm an alcoholic, child. And I was just like, oh gosh, like grow the hell up, Latrice. And Letitia's like, look, I drink, I get drunk, but it's when and where and with who. So after that, the episode goes off. They're going to continue their conversation the next episode. And then we're going to see Tambra and Aikisha actually talk about the whole text message situation. But, this episode was decent. I'll give it a B minus. It was okay. I mean, nothing was really popping this episode, but Latrice really needs to find a way to grow. Like, I feel like so many of the other women have shown their vulnerable side and the things that they're going through, while I feel like I still don't know Latrice. I just don't. Now I know that she has this strong bond with her mother, but I just feel like, who are you? And again, I think because she doesn't know who she is, outside of her always trying to be this boss chick and having this hair company and saying she has a husband, that clearly her and her husband got their own issues. I don't think Latrice knows who she is. She knows the labels that she wants to have, but does she know who she is? But with that being said, give your comments below. Let me know what you thought about this episode. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on my next video. Toodles.